Are you someone who hits the snooze button 12 times before getting out of bed? Or are you the individual who's up before the sun getting after it? Either way, we're here to talk about one of my favorite topics today, building a morning routine that works for you and your family. So sit back, grab your tea, coffee, whatever may fuel you, and let's figure this out together. Another beautiful day here on the Unbreakable Parents Podcast. How do y'all like the rebranding? That's right. We had to rebrand. I couldn't get into our old account for whatever reason that may be. I thought the login was right, but I guess it wasn't. So now I had to create something new. Still the same podcast. I'm trying to figure out how I can get all the old episodes. You still can look up the AXEARE Collective and check out the old episodes there. But speaking of the AXEARE Collective, if you're not already with us, check out the show notes, check out the description on YouTube. We'll have a link there for you to come join a community, a collective of like-minded parents who are on the grind, who just want to be the best versions of themselves for them and their family. So come join us, check out the description. That's all I got to say on that. But today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, mainly because it's such a hot topic in the world of fitness and health. And I think it's like one of the things we see out there the most as consumers, right? Like I am a consumer of this information as well, just like you are. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I'm trying to figure out who is putting out this information so that I can come to you all and put it out the way that I know we need to. So I think there's a couple big issues here. And if I'm looking down, that's because I'm trying to be a little bit more on point with these podcasts for you all and have just a couple notes for myself. I don't like scripting or anything like that. I have some type of a script, but it's more so I can just show you if you're on the video here watching. But it's just a couple little notes here that I have down for myself. Camera wasn't focusing, but that's all right. But like I said, first thing I want to cover when it comes to morning routines is the fact that it doesn't have to be this epic thing. Now, myself included, I thought it did. When I first started, trying to figure out how to be the best version of myself back when I was medically retired from the military, I found a lot of different information. And a lot of that information was morning routines, like how to be more productive, how do I get more done, how do I achieve all the things I'm trying to achieve in life, and be a good father and husband, right? Like I needed to be productive, and boom, comes out morning routines. Now I would see like, oh, best morning routine for entrepreneurs, best way to start your morning, for parents, the best way to get more done, right? And it's just all these little things. And it would be very specific, right? It was like, hey, you wake up, you hop in a cold shower. From there, you go for your 30-minute walk. From there, you go and you do meditation, or vice versa. You do meditation first, then you go for a 30-minute walk. And then after that, you make your breakfast and everything. And then after that, you read for a little bit. And then after that, you can start your day. Bro, that ain't going to work for me. I don't know about you all listening, but that ain't going to work for me. So this is the thing. That whole epic hype on it and stuff like that, I get it. Like it gets you going and it gets you out of bed and it kind of gets you like, all right, cool, I can do this. But what's going to be sustainable? That's with everything when it comes to coaching for me. Any of my clients, the first thing I always come back to is like, is this a sustainable task? Can they do this for a long duration of time? Now, sometimes you got to test this out. If you don't have a coach yourself and you aren't very aware of these things, you got to just build resilience and awareness by way of action and just doing these things and figuring it out. But from years of experience of doing it myself and coaching, I'm able to more easily dial in on like, hey, okay, cool. Here's where this person's at. Here's what I think they can handle. Let's have a conversation about it. And then we kind of pick a task and goal together that aligns with where I want them to go, where they want to go, and boom, bada bing, bada boom. We get to where we're going. It might take some time, but we get there. And the same thing applies here, right? Like I'm not replicating anything from client to client to client. The only thing I'm replicating is the conversations and how I want this to be led, right? I don't want my clients to ever feel like they necessarily need me to go live these healthy lives. Maybe at the beginning that's how it is and that's why they come to me, but I want to give them the power, the tools, everything they need to go do this on their own. Now, trying to replicate a blueprinted plan from client A to client B is not how I'm going to do that. Nor is replicating some guru's routine on YouTube going to be your way to success in being productive in the morning. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to get out is it doesn't have to be so epic, and you don't go replicating all these things that you see, right? And parents, I get it. Sometimes this stuff's overwhelming, I feel like, and that's why I'm trying to kind of condense this down to a little bit shorter episode, so it's not so overwhelming. Because as a parent, I got to a point where I was like, dude, I can't continue doing all this. It's not sustainable. What do? Bye. Move it off to the side. You're out of here. I don't want to use you. And then boom, now I'm stuck in this cycle of negative self-talk because now I'm not doing the things I want to do. And then that trickles into the rest of my life. Now I'm not showing up for my kids as much as I could. I'm not showing up for my wife as much as I could. I'm not showing up for my business and my clients as much as I could, so on and so forth. So it starts to affect you a lot, especially if you keep going through the same cycle. That's why I want to stop any parent out there who feels like, why bother? Why bother doing this when it's so difficult? I'm going to try to make that easier here today, okay? So, biggest problems again that I see does not have to be epic, and people are making this big epic routine that takes way too damn long. We'll get into kind of what mine is here in a second. It doesn't take that long. And then replicating somebody else's routine. Don't like what you hear from me. I'm going to try not to even share too much about what I do because I don't want you to think like, oh, cool, I want to be doing things like Devontae does. Like, all right, cool, I'm going to go do what he does. No, like you got to think about your life, and we'll talk about that here right now. And the last thing is, if you're feeling like why bother, just keep listening. By the end of this episode, I'm going to make this really simple, and you'll be able to dial in an unbreakable routine around your mornings. So let's get into some tips. Now, it's kind of funny. Take a sip of coffee real quick. If you got your coffee or tea, take a sip with me. It's funny to me. Whenever I looked up morning routines and as I was building myself as a coach and everything, one thing I realized is there's very little talk about communication, especially within these morning routines. And I think this is why I'm taking a psychology degree. Like this all really interests me. And the reason why I say communication is key first, think about this. I'm going to give you an example here. I would wake up, I would go to the gym at 5 a.m., and then that would leave JoJo needing to get up with the kids very early in the morning. And, not putting too much of her information out there, but, she's not able to sleep the best at night, and she wakes up periodically and stuff, and we're working on that. But it caused her to be very tired in the morning. So I used to wake up, go to the gym, I would go train, and then after that, I would come home, I would lock into work for a little while, and then I would end up going like skating or something. This is when skating was like my big goal, big performance thing. And then lo and behold, I would fall back on things that she needs help on around the house. And all these little things started to add up, and boom, we would end up having a conversation about it to where I would learn that she doesn't feel supported in the way that I'm living my life. Now, that's not to say there isn't like a give and take here for each partner, but I had to realize, okay, dang, the way I'm doing my stuff without any communication around it is not helping her at all. So maybe I should start to talk about this with her, and not just about what I'm going to be doing in the morning, but also like how we both operate and how our kids operate. So, for example, myself and my youngest, Asher, we're both those type of people who are, up before the sun, making breakfast, getting ready to tackle the day. He's up at the table, drawing pictures, getting ready to help me with breakfast. I'm working up at 4:30, and then I'm working by 5. We'll hop into like what that half hour kind of looks like. And then, yeah, the opposite is true for Arlo and JoJo, right? My oldest son, and then my wife, JoJo. She is not a morning person. She doesn't want to be asked any questions in the morning. She wants to take her time when she gets up. And same thing for Arlo. So if I don't understand that and I'm not having communication, open-ended communication with my kids, my wife, and understanding how they feel and operate in the morning, it might start causing a little bit of friction in the household if I'm trying to run my morning in a way that completely disrupts everybody else, right? Like when you are a father, a husband, I know everybody listening, like and a parent in general, not just father, but you're a parent in general, you're a spouse. If you're listening to this, you care. And you don't want to make things harder than they need to be, but you also want to succeed at your goals. So that's why I'm saying communication is key, because now we're able to have a conversation and I understand that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can flip this around then to where it works out in my favor, to where I can still wake up at 4:30. I get up, I take a little bit more time for myself. I'm not rushing out the door. I'm chilling a little bit more, roll out of bed. I'm chilling. I go get my water. I feed my cat. And then I usually hop in the shower real quick. I just kind of get myself rinsed off for the day. I go back upstairs. I grab some tea. I get weight and everything in the morning. And then pretty much from there, I just go lock into work. Whatever my first task is for the day, I just start doing that at 5 a.m., kind of walking on my treadmill that's outside the office. And then boom, I'm ready to go. And then kind of 5:30, 5:45, 6 in between there, Ash starts to wake up. So that's when I'll go upstairs. I'll handle all the kid stuff. I'll do the breakfast. I'll get the dishes put away. I'll load the dishwasher up. Some days I do forget. No one's perfect. Love you, babe. But I do those things. And it's because I know that it makes her life that much easier. And then boom, that allows her the energy on the back end when she wakes up. And then I go bring Arlo to school. She's with Ash. Now I can go grind a little bit more with work stuff, go do my stuff with Ninja Anywhere, go do stuff with my clients, build this AXEARE business. And then boom, go hit the gym midday. I'm able to go hit the gym midday, go pick up Arlo. By the time I get home, a little bit of work that needs to be done. And now boom, everybody is in sync and we're all enjoying life that much more, right? And it's not like I had to go build this grandiose routine or get JoJo, hey, you have to get up and you have to do things this way and blah, blah, blah. No, like if you love your spouse, like, and they live life a certain way and you live life a certain way and it's different, like just communicate around that. And how can you work in a plan that works for the both of you and everybody in the home? So that's the first thing I want to say. Kind of a big tip. Now, the second tip would be do for yourself before you do for others. That's where being a parent, I know this is very difficult. I work with this with JoJo where she wakes up and I try to make sure like, hey, like although like I did this stuff, I know you want to jump right in, but just take a little bit of time real quick and you wake up, get your water in, get your shower taken real quick. Like even just those little things can really set you up for just being a better version of yourself in my eyes. Like every time I haven't, and I've just woke up, even if it's just 10 minutes before the kids get up, but if the kids get me up and then I'm like right into parent stuff, I'm just kind of grinding through the day and I don't take that time before for myself, man, am I a different human. Like by the end of the day, I just feel so overwhelmed. Like I've had no time to myself. And that's the case sometimes as parents, right? But 10 minutes, I can make that happen. I can have 10 minutes to myself real quick, even if that means, hey kids, sit down, draw a picture real quick. Dad's going to go have a little bit of time. I'm going to go take my shower real quick. I'm going to just start the day. That's where I can do maybe a little bit of meditation, just get my mind right, and boom, start the day. Same thing. Like you can figure out a way that works for you, but please do for yourself before you do for others. Even if that's maybe setting yourself up for success at night. Maybe you're just doing more at night that is technically for others, right? Like prepping breakfast, whatever it might be. And then that allows you to get more sleep and allows you a little bit more time in the morning to just have that good feeling right away. Like not feeling so stressed right when you wake up, spiking that cortisol higher than it needs to go. And then my last tip, kind of threw it in there. Do what works for you. Like do not replicate what I just said that I do. Like it's not going to work for everybody. It's just not, right? Like, and then science will say, hey, you need to get up, you need to move, you need to see sunlight, you need to do this and that. Like, yeah, I know what science says. I get that. In science, that yes, it does have a fact to play. Yes, if you do wake up and you start to move your body more, if you do get outside and you get sunlight in your eyes, like those are things that are shown, scientifically proven to give you more energy. Now, if that all comes in the way of you getting after your day in the way that you need to so you have less mental debt, is what I like to say, well, are we just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot? We can always go outside and get the sun right after, and especially here in the winter in Minnesota, the sun don't come up till about 7:30 in the morning. Like, it is what it is. Sometimes, just don't get caught up in it. Do what works best for you. Figure out, what are my life tasks? What are my family's tasks? What are our goals? Reverse engineer how you're going to get to those goals, and then build a routine around that works for everybody by way of having communication with your spouse, with the people in your household, the kids, maybe you're living with in-laws, whatever it might be. Have that communication so you all understand how you operate in the mornings, what you're trying to accomplish, what they're trying to accomplish, and what their day looks like in general when it comes to work and just their schedule. Then from there, just make sure you're doing for yourself before you do for others, right? Hey, I know it's hard as a parent. I get it. I will grind myself into the ground sometimes, doing this work stuff to make sure I can provide for the family I have and give them things that we're working toward. But I got to make sure I take care of myself too. Because if I don't, then I'm not able to produce as much as much good content here for you all, and also produce amazing coaching results for my clients. Because it's a lot harder to do. So again, real quick recap. When it comes to a morning routine, just don't fall in the trap of the big epic routine and trying to replicate everything out there. First and foremost, have open-ended communication with your spouse, with your kids, with anybody that you're living with. Understand, what are their goals, what's their morning like, how do they feel in the morning, and how would they like their morning to go, and how would you like yours to go? And then figure out a middle ground there that works for people. Self-care. You got to take care of yourself before you can really take care of anybody to your fullest potential. Whether that's at night, whether that's in the morning, that's for you to figure out. And if you need help, check out the description in the show notes. I have a free coaching call. You can book a free coaching call with me. So if you're not doing it, I mean, what are you doing? Let's chat. There's no sale incentive. I will not sell you any coaching. It's just literally a coaching call for us to talk about what might be going on in your morning routine. How maybe you need help figuring out how to plug this type of stuff in to make it easier for you. I'm here to chat. Like, let's do this. That's what I'm here for. And last but not least, adaptability. Find what works for you. There's so many different unique situations out there, right? Like every parent, like every human has a unique situation. And then you add parenting on top of it. Like, it just gets so unique from individual to individual. So please let go of what hasn't worked. Don't keep trying to do the stuff that hasn't worked. And start working in a plan that's going to work for you, right? And that's by way of everything we just talked about, okay? Now, I got a call for action for you all before my camera dies. Like I said at the beginning, if you're not already, come join the collective community with us. We are people who are building our own unbreakable foundations around fitness, health, nutrition, all so that we can be the best versions of ourselves for our loved ones around us. That's really all I got for you guys today. That was debunking morning routines. I don't know what I'm going to name this one yet, but we'll figure it out. That's episode 11 for you all. Much love. Peace.